Sleep is far more than a biological necessity. It is a profound spiritual process where our souls receive essential healing and rejuvenation. The renowned mystic Cayce described sleep as a spiritual hospital, where souls temporarily leave their physical vessels to reconnect with higher dimensions of existence. This separation allows for vital restorative work that cannot occur during our waking hours. When we enter deep, restorative sleep, our consciousness shifts to subtler planes where spiritual healing actively takes place. Our soul, our true eternal essence, partially detaches from physical limitations and enters realms where divine energies flow more freely. This sacred transition happens naturally, though most remain unaware of these nightly journeys. The quality of this soul-healing process depends greatly on how completely we surrender to sleep. In profound sleep states, the silver cord, an energetic tether connecting our physical and spiritual bodies, stretches to allow maximum freedom while maintaining our life connection. This expansion permits our soul to receive three essential forms of healing. First, during quality sleep, we absorb vital spiritual energy, what many traditions call prana, chi, or life force. This cosmic energy replenishes our spiritual reserves, much like recharging a battery. Our etheric body, the energetic template for our physical form, receives recalibration and balancing during this time. The subtle energy centers known as chakras are cleansed of stagnant energies accumulated during waking hours, allowing for proper energy flow throughout our entire being. Second, deep sleep enables communication with spiritual guides and higher aspects of our own consciousness. These encounters often manifest as symbolic dreams, or occasionally as direct spiritual instruction. Though we may not consciously remember these communications upon waking, the wisdom imparted becomes integrated into our intuitive understanding. This guidance helps align our earthly actions with our soul's greater purpose and evolutionary path. Third, and perhaps most crucial, is the process of karmic cleansing that occurs during profound sleep. The soul reviews recent experiences, processing emotional residue and transforming negative patterns. This spiritual digestion allows us to release what no longer serves our highest good. During this time, soul contracts are reviewed, lessons are integrated, and the spiritual blueprint of our life journey is gently adjusted when necessary. The physical environment significantly impacts this healing process. A quiet, dark, and energetically clean sleeping space supports the soul's ability to fully detach and receive maximum benefit. Before sleep, setting conscious intentions for healing and protection creates a spiritual gateway for positive forces to work through. Simple practices like prayer, meditation, or gratitude before sleep can dramatically enhance the soul's ability to receive healing during the night. Our modern lifestyle often disrupts these natural spiritual rhythms. Electromagnetic pollution, artificial lighting, and stimulants can anchor consciousness too firmly to the physical plane, preventing the soul's liberation during sleep. This explains why many awaken feeling physically rested yet spiritually depleted despite adequate sleep duration. The soul's healing during sleep follows natural cosmic cycles. The hours between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. are especially potent for spiritual healing, aligning with subtle energetic tides in the universal consciousness. Ancient wisdom traditions recognize these patterns, which is why many spiritual practices encourage early retirement and pre-dawn awakening to maximize soul restoration. Sleep also serves as a spiritual classroom where karmic lessons are reviewed and integrated. Our higher self uses this time to process our spiritual curriculum, helping us understand life challenges from a higher perspective. This explains why solutions to problems often appear clearly after a good night's rest. Our soul has gained clarity beyond the limited perspective of our waking mind. The deepest stages of sleep allow for what spiritual traditions call soul travel, visitations to astral realms, where we may commune with departed loved ones, visit spiritual temples of learning, or receive healing from advanced spiritual beings. These experiences typically occur beyond ordinary dream consciousness and represent authentic spiritual encounters rather than mere psychological processing. Should you wish to enhance this healing process, practice conscious surrender before sleep, release the day's tensions, forgive all perceived wrongs, and entrust your soul to divine care. This willing surrender creates the conditions for maximum spiritual restoration and ensures your soul returns with renewed purpose and clarity by morning's light. When sleep becomes fragmented or disturbed, the soul's healing journey is profoundly compromised. Unlike the restorative experience of deep sleep, restless nights create a spiritual limbo where the soul remains partially tethered to physical consciousness, unable to fully access the healing dimensions beyond our material existence. This incomplete separation creates a cascade of spiritual consequences that extend far beyond mere physical fatigue. During nights of insomnia or interrupted sleep, the soul struggles to break free from bodily awareness. This partial detachment creates an energetic strain on the silver cord, the spiritual lifeline connecting our physical and ethereal bodies. When this connection remains taut rather than properly extended, the soul cannot ascend to higher vibrational realms where restoration occurs. Instead, it hovers in lower astral planes, where confusing dreams and disjointed experiences predominate. The consequences of this spiritual limitation are significant. Without complete access to healing energies, the soul cannot properly cleanse accumulated emotional and karmic debris. These unprocessed energies then crystallize within our spiritual body, eventually manifesting as physical ailments, emotional disturbances, or mental fog. What begins as spiritual stagnation gradually descends into tangible suffering across all dimensions of our being. Nightmares represent another troubling aspect of disrupted sleep. Far from being mere psychological phenomena, these disturbing dreams often signal the soul's encounter with its own unresolved shadows, or, in some cases, interaction with discordant entities in lower astral realms. During normal sleep, protective spiritual forces shield us from such encounters. But when sleep is shallow or fragmented, these natural barriers weaken. The frightening imagery of nightmares frequently reflects the soul's desperate attempt to process spiritual disturbances without proper resources or protection. The spiritual vulnerability created by poor sleep extends beyond the night itself. When we awaken from disturbed sleep, our auric field, the electromagnetic energy shield surrounding our physical body, remains compromised. This weakened spiritual boundary leaves us susceptible to negative external influences throughout the following day. Many experience this as heightened sensitivity to others' emotions, unusual irritability, or a general sense of spiritual depletion that cannot be remedied through physical means alone. Perhaps most concerning is how chronic sleep disruption affects our soul's evolutionary journey. The spiritual growth that occurs during proper sleep is essential for karmic progression. When this process is repeatedly interrupted, the soul struggles to integrate life lessons, potentially extending our need to revisit certain patterns across multiple incarnations. What might have been resolved in one lifetime may require additional cycles of experience when the nightly spiritual integration is consistently compromised. The relationship between emotional trauma and disrupted sleep creates a particularly challenging spiritual cycle. Unprocessed emotional wounds often manifest as sleep disturbances, which then prevent the very healing needed to resolve these traumas. This creates a spiritual feedback loop where the soul becomes increasingly entangled in unresolved patterns. Breaking this cycle typically requires conscious intervention through spiritual practices that support both emotional healing and improved sleep quality. Technology and modern living patterns have exacerbated these challenges. The electromagnetic frequencies emitted by devices can destabilize the subtle energy field required for proper soul detachment during sleep. Similarly, artificial lighting disrupts the natural production of melatonin, which serves not only as a sleep hormone, but as a spiritual facilitator for consciousness transition between dimensions. Our ancestors, living in greater harmony with natural cycles, experienced fewer barriers to spiritual restoration during sleep. The spiritual implications of sleep medications present another consideration. While pharmaceuticals may induce unconsciousness, they often suppress the natural stages of sleep required for complete soul liberation. This chemically induced state may provide physical rest, but frequently blocks access to higher spiritual dimensions where true healing occurs. This explains why many report feeling physically rested, yet spiritually vacant after medication-assisted sleep. Poor sleep also diminishes our capacity to reorganize emotional experiences. During normal sleep cycles, the soul processes emotional residue from daily interactions, transmuting lower vibrations into higher understanding. Without this spiritual alchemy, emotional energies remain trapped in our energetic system, eventually manifesting as persistent negative thought patterns or emotional reactivity that seems disproportionate to current circumstances. When sleep quality deteriorates over extended periods, the soul gradually loses touch with its divine blueprint, the spiritual template containing our highest potential and purpose. This disconnection manifests as a growing sense of meaninglessness, spiritual alienation, or existential questioning. Many spiritual seekers experiencing such symptoms may be suffering not from philosophical crisis, but from the cumulative effect of insufficient spiritual restoration during sleep. The spiritual community across traditions has long recognized these patterns. Prayer rituals before bed, blessed herbs placed beneath pillows, and protective symbols in sleeping chambers all reflect ancestral understanding of sleep's spiritual significance. These practices were not mere superstition, but practical methods to ensure the soul's safe passage to healing dimensions during nightly transitions. The first step toward reclaiming this essential spiritual process is acknowledging sleep's sacred dimension. By approaching sleep as a spiritual practice, rather than merely a biological function, we begin restoring proper conditions for soul healing. Creating sacred space in our bedrooms, establishing pre-sleep rituals of gratitude and surrender, and consciously releasing the day's attachments opens pathways for the soul's complete liberation during sleep hours. Dreams represent the most accessible window into the soul's nocturnal healing work. Far more than random neural firings or psychological processing, dreams serve as the interface between ordinary consciousness and the profound spiritual work occurring during sleep. The nature and quality of our dreams provide direct insight into whether our soul is receiving proper healing or experiencing interference in its nightly journey. Healing dreams possess distinct qualities that separate them from ordinary or disturbing dream experiences. These restorative dreams often feature symbols of cleansing, pure water, gentle light, or expansive natural settings. The emotional tone remains balanced, even when processing difficult material. Upon awakening from such dreams, a subtle sense of resolution persists, as if some internal reconciliation has occurred beyond conscious awareness. This peaceful resonance signals successful spiritual integration during the night. In contrast, disturbing dreams indicate obstruction in the soul's healing process. Recurring nightmares, particularly those featuring pursuit, entrapment, or helplessness, often reflect the soul's struggle with energetic attachments or unresolved karmic patterns. These dreams should not be dismissed as meaningless, but recognized as important diagnostic tools, revealing where spiritual attention is needed. The repetitive nature of such dreams indicates the soul's determined effort to process blocked energy despite encountering resistance. Dream symbols themselves carry universal spiritual significance, while simultaneously speaking the unique language of each individual soul. Water typically represents emotional cleansing and spiritual purification. Flying or ascending symbolizes the soul's liberation from physical limitations, while encounters with spiritual beings or departed loved ones often constitute actual meetings on soul levels rather than mere symbolic representations. Learning to recognize these patterns enhances our ability to consciously participate in our spiritual healing. The vulnerable state of the soul during light or fragmented sleep deserves particular attention. When sleep remains shallow, our consciousness hovers in a borderland between physical and spiritual awareness. This liminal state prevents full access to higher healing dimensions while simultaneously weakening our spiritual boundaries. During these periods, the protective field normally maintained by our higher self becomes permeable, allowing lower vibrations or discordant entities to influence our dream experiences and energy system. This vulnerability manifests in dreams featuring invasion of personal space, unwelcome presences, or a pervasive sense of being watched. Upon awakening from such dreams, residual heaviness or inexplicable exhaustion often persists despite adequate sleep duration. These symptoms indicate energy depletion rather than restoration during the night hours, signaling the need for spiritual protection practices before sleep. The relationship between sleep quality and karmic evolution forms perhaps the most profound aspect of this spiritual understanding. During deep, restorative sleep, the soul gains perspective on its evolutionary journey across multiple incarnations. This expanded awareness allows for the processing of karmic patterns that would otherwise remain hidden from waking consciousness. Solutions to seemingly intractable life challenges often emerge following nights of profound sleep, precisely because the soul has accessed this broader karmic perspective. Conversely, chronically disrupted sleep interferes with this evolutionary process. When the soul cannot regularly access higher dimensions during sleep, karmic patterns remain energetically active without proper integration or resolution. This explains why periods of poor sleep often coincide with feeling spiritually stagnant or experiencing the repetition of challenging life patterns despite conscious efforts to evolve beyond them. The soul's ability to reconnect with its divine purpose represents another crucial function of proper sleep. Each soul incarnates with specific intentions for growth and service. During quality sleep, this spiritual blueprint receives clarification and energetic reinforcement. We often experience this as awakening with renewed sense of purpose or unexpected clarity about life direction. These moments of inspiration frequently originate not from the subconscious mind, but from direct communion with our higher spiritual aspects during sleep. This reconnection process affects daily intuitive functioning. After restorative sleep, the channel between intuitive wisdom and conscious awareness remains open, allowing for enhanced spiritual perception throughout waking hours. Many report increased synchronicities, clearer inner guidance, or spontaneous solutions to problems following nights of deep sleep. These experiences reflect the soul's successful communion with higher dimensions, rather than merely improved cognitive functioning. Practical spiritual work can significantly enhance this healing process. Before sleep, consciously setting intentions for healing specific aspects of your life creates a spiritual directive that guides the soul's journey during sleep hours. Visualizing protective light surrounding your physical and energetic bodies establishes boundaries that prevent unwanted influences during vulnerable sleep transitions. Simple prayers requesting assistance from spiritual guides or higher aspects of consciousness open channels for healing energies to flow more abundantly. The relationship between physical health and spiritual sleep quality flows in both directions. While physical discomfort can disrupt the soul's ability to detach during sleep, spiritual disruptions during sleep eventually manifest as physical ailments. The body serves as the final expression point for energies that begin in spiritual dimensions. By addressing both physical and spiritual aspects of sleep, we create optimal conditions for complete healing across all levels of our being. The practice of dream recall and contemplation serves as a powerful tool for enhancing spiritual healing during sleep. By maintaining a dream journal and reflecting on dream patterns with spiritual awareness, we strengthen the connection between waking consciousness and the soul's nighttime work. This practice gradually increases our ability to maintain awareness during sleep transitions, eventually allowing for conscious participation in the healing processes normally occurring beyond ordinary awareness. As we conclude this exploration, remember that every night presents a new opportunity for spiritual restoration. The soul's capacity for healing remains undiminished, regardless of past sleep difficulties. By approaching sleep as a sacred practice rather than mere physical necessity, we honor the profound spiritual dimensions of this daily transition. Through this renewed awareness, we transform ordinary sleep into a powerful catalyst for spiritual evolution, allowing our souls to receive the complete healing and guidance available in dimensions beyond waking consciousness. True spiritual growth requires this nightly restoration. By protecting and honoring our sleep, we aren't merely enhancing physical health, we're creating the essential conditions for our souls to heal, evolve, and ultimately fulfill their divine purpose in this earthly journey. If these teachings about the soul's healing during sleep resonated with your spiritual path, please subscribe to our channel for more ancient wisdom applied to modern life. Share your own sleep and dream experiences in the comments below. Your insights may help others on their journey. Hit the notification bell to join our spiritual community and never miss our weekly explorations of consciousness. Remember, true transformation happens when knowledge becomes practice. Start tonight by setting an intention for your soul's healing during sleep. Subscribe now, and let's continue this sacred journey together.